Recording in progress.
Good evening, good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum to everyone. This is Millennium Khan, Executive Director, Community Development Foundation, co-founder of Global Women's Development Network, and also president of this 16 Days of Activism for Development campaign. We started from 25th of November, and we are going to close this campaign on 10th of December. So in this campaign, we have three major components for the discussion. This is about the smart agriculture solutions. We also discuss food and nutrition, and major focus of this campaign is ensuring food security for upcoming generations. So ultimate objective of this campaign is removing malnutrition from young kids from 0 to 15 years of age. So we are on our 10th day today, and we are really blessed that we spent 9 days with a great success, with a very highly professional and vibrant speakers, audience, and also the organizers which are joining this, which are running this campaign with a great interest and also with a great concern towards the sustainable development goals. So today we are on our 10th day, and on these days today we have our three speakers with us. This is Patricia. Patricia is from Ghana, and she is coming to discuss about her life experiences, and also she's sharing the techniques of family farming. We have with us today as Dr. Kelvin Morgan, and Dr. Kelvin is also going to discuss with us about the farming techniques, and also he's giving us a live visit of his own farm as well. So, and the third speaker, this is Sir Sheldon Francis, and yesterday he was committed to become on the 3rd of December, but he was busy in the Persons with the Disabilities Days on their different events. So that's why he's coming to join us today as a speaker. So we have 3 sessions today by the speakers, and rest of the all audience having the chance to discuss about their work, about their suggestions, feedback on this 10th day today. So quickly, we have as per our proceedings, we quickly have a round of introduction, and we are going to start from Sir Andrew. And Sir Andrew, you can start introducing yourself, and then one by one, all available members can introduce, and we have only one minute for the quick introductions, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. This is Sir Andrew Williams Jr. I'm still getting used to that. I am a prince of the Akan Kingdom and of the Easy Igbo people of Nigerians in Ghana, but I'm here in Los Angeles, and I'm broadcasting from the Tongva, land of the Tongva indigenous people here. It's critically important that we understand our work here, even though it's sponsored by the Global Women's Development Network and also the Community Development Foundation. We're also supporting the International and Indigenous Women's Development Conference next year. So please join us for the rest of this collaboration of 16 days and for next year. Andrew Williams Jr. here with Andrew Networks. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. This is Ma'am John Kerr. Kindly unmute yourself and introduce.
Great. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Joan Kerr. I run the Foundation for Building Sustainable Communities. I live in Canada, which means that today is very cold. I'm so happy to be here. I also have a program called Climate Smart Victory Garden, amongst other programs, and I'm learning so much from everyone and all the speakers. I'm looking forward to all the speakers today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Joan. Also, just to let you know, we do see your beautiful tree and we see your beautiful ocean, but we don't see you, just for your own information.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. And this is Princess Seppi with us. Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself and introduce on the on the session.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much, Miriam. Princess Step from South Africa, representing Future Lift and the rural women and indigenous people where I am and advocating for them. Thank you very much. And I'm also part of the executive team, the team that is so strong, the team that is so bold to put together this 16 days campaign. And we are still going strong. Each day is gaining momentum. Thank you so much. Let us enjoy this day.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, Ma'am Patricia, can you introduce yourself before your speech?
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, microphone issues. Hi, I'm Patricia Che. I live in Ghana. I'm the CEO of Wildwind Resort, the beautiful resorts that we're about to show you in a minute. And I'm going to be speaking today on small-time farming and the effects and how it can change lives.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, Dr. Sadia, can you introduce yourself, please?
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. I am Sadia Khan from Pakistan, Sahiwal. I'm a clinical psychologist and also working as a visiting faculty at University of Sahiwal. And thank you, Ms. Mariam, for this active participation training, giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
You're always welcome. Dr. Kelvin Morgan, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello. My name is Colonel Dr. Kelvin Morgan. I'm the president of African Festival Foundation.
Thank you so much, sir. So this is Amjad Park. Sir, kindly introduce yourself quickly. Sir Amjad, if you can listen us, kindly introduce yourself. Okay, thank you so much. So this is over to Sir Andrew William. If you want to having a quick review of yesterday's speaker. This is Ma'am Lane Chickett from California, and she did the lecture on impactful farming, social impact of farming. So, sir, we have her review with us, or we are moving towards the our first speaker?
Well, I'll just briefly review yesterday's amazing presentation by Lynn Chickett. As you say, she's here in the United States, in California, and the San Francisco area. However, her work has taken her around the world, and her intent is for all of us to become not just more conscious of how food and growing food has an impact on our local households and our communities, but can have a worldwide impact. She was introduced by the celebrity guru, Dr. Pravin out of Canada as well, but he has his roots in India, but he explained to us that we are all connected together around the world. And again, the daily commitment of all of us to work together is at the heart of what we're doing. So Joan Kerr had a chance to interact with Lynn yesterday, as did others of our group. We are making a commitment to work together to support Lynn Chickett around the world. She's made herself available now for guest speeches, also presentations. So we want to empower everyone to be able to take advantage of all of our activities, and everyone here is asked to be ready to go to the world. Thank you very much, Mariam Khan.
Thank you so much, sir, for your great analysis and review of the yesterday. So we are moving towards our today's first speaker. This is Patricia. And as you listen in her introduction, today she's coming to discuss with us about the smart farming. And Ms. Patricia, this is over to you, and you can start your session now.
Hello again. I'm Patricia, and I'm down for speaking on farming today. But I wanted to tell like everybody about my experiences growing up and how I ended up farming and how I think farming is the way to go for youth of today. I grew up in the 90s in New York, New York City. So farming wasn't a thing that New York City kids thought about or would even ever think of. But in the 2000s, when the economic crisis started in America, I was working as a software engineer for IBM, and my team transitioned into Brazil. So most of us lost our jobs. So I decided to move into Ghana, where I was born and where I owned a very nice piece of land. So I moved down here with a dream to build a beautiful resort. And this is where we are standing right now. As I moved down, I came down with severance pay from IBM. At that age and time, I thought it was so much money. So I thought I was going to build this beautiful resort and everything would turn around and the world would be a happy place for me. It took less than 2 years. I ran out of money. So without knowing what to do, my mother, who had raised me in Ghana for about 10 years, who's actually my aunt, was also dying, and I had no source of income. Even though I owned this beautiful property, it wasn't as beautiful as it looks today, but it was up and coming. So I had a decision to either return to US and start over or to stay in Ghana and do something. I started looking for jobs all around Ghana and I didn't find anything. So I thought of going back to US. I had been in Ghana for more than 4 years, so I needed to train. And going back to US and training meant I needed money that I didn't have. So I woke up one day and decided to move here to the property, my land. And as we came down, I thought, why don't I start planting things? And the first thing that I even ever did was eat an orange and leave the seeds, right here, as you can see on the ground. And a few weeks later, maybe a month, I saw that 3 trees were growing. And I thought, oh my God, that's the oranges I ate is growing. So I moved them and planted them properly so that they can get a chance to grow. Not very far from that day, I started planting more things because I realized that seeds just grew. I knew nothing about farming. So things started growing. I planted a couple of plantain trees, they grew. Then I moved on to coconuts. They started growing. I went to banana, green peppers. And before I knew it, I was able to feed myself and 2 staff members who worked with me. So over the years, when it was slow and nobody was around, we will plant more. And very soon I could feed at least 6 kids. So I brought them in to help me work and we started planting. Before I knew it, we were able to feed ourselves, feed our families, and still have leftover food for other people. So I thought, wait, is that easy to just plant and not a lot of money go into it? Why not we start? So I tell my guys, whenever it's slow, let's plant things. So none of us had prior knowledge on farming. We just planted. We will eat watermelons, we throw the seeds. We wash tomatoes, peppers. We threw the seeds out on the field and they grew. So I started to do some research on land in Africa. And I found out 60% of the world's arable lands belong to Africa. Like, huh? Then I read more. I learned that 14% of the GDP for all of sub-Sahara Africa comes from agriculture. But then I'm thinking, if 60% of the world's arable land are in Africa, why do we only have 14% of the GDP coming from agriculture? how do we get the word out to the youth that agriculture is really the way to go? So I came up, I met Kelvin, Dr. Kelvin, and I thought, Dr. Kelvin, we need to get the word out because I survived. I ran out of money. I had zero money. A hotel that was 95% built and land that was 0% built. I've been able to turn it around just by farming. And I don't even know anything about farming. So if I knew more and if I could train more youth, do you understand how transformative that will be? And Dr. Kevin is you're right. Let's get the youth together. Let's empower the mind. Let's start somewhere because we can't just sit and talk about farming, talk about jobs, talk about so many things, but we don't do it. So why don't we actually use this place as a model? Let's get the proper farming going. Let's get the youth here to see it for themselves. Let's try to empower some of them to start their own. And then let's see how we can get the crops from being destroyed after it comes up. Because right now it's about 95 degrees here. When the crops come, we are about an hour and a half from the city. The road network is really bad. So to even get the crops, the food out to the city is a problem. What if we can stay here and turn it, preserve it, can some, bag some, do whatever we need to do to get food out to the city and to other people who can get the farmlands going. There's so much we can do. If you look around here, look at the greens. We get excess oranges around here because we do nothing with them. We will eat some, make orange juice. Even putting the orange juice in our refrigerators, the lights will go off and food will spoil. And then there are other people right here in Ghana, not too far from us, who don't even have access to food. So what can we do to solve some of these problems? Like one village will have excess food, the other village is dying from hunger. If we came together and we put our heads together, what we can do can change Africa, not if not the world. So that's why I'm here to talk a bit about the experiences I went through and how just simple farming transformed my life. If we can do it better, I think we can transform many lives. And I wanted to share it with you and see what Kevin and I can do in Ghana to make a difference here. So I will turn it over to Kevin now. Thank you very much for the time. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to all of you today. I'm really happy to be here.
Well, thank you. And also, we do have an audience that's wider than just the people here in the group. We're streaming it to Facebook. We have a group where we stream every day these events, all the past 10 and the upcoming 6. So please take a chance and join our group so that you can interact with people that have the same interests as you do. Over to you, Dr. Kelvin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful discussion and your life experiences you have shared with us. And yes, we all are transforming life, and we all are, working day and night only to achieve our sustainable development goals through different contributions. So thank you so much for joining us today as a speaker. And now we are moving towards Dr. Kelvin. So Dr. Kelvin, are you ready with your live visit with us? Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Like,
Thank you so
as
much.
you can see, thank you very much too. For my life experience, I've learned a lot in life.
So Dr.
You know,
Kelvin, Dr. Kelvin, please begin
yeah,
with telling us, who you are, what your organization is, and how we can reach you, and then proceed. Thank you.
Oh, okay. My name is Dr. Kelvin Morgan. I'm the founder of African Festival Foundation. And I think I put my information on the charts. So anybody who wants to reach me can just get those informations there and he can reach me.
Well, the great news, Dr. Kelvin, the great news is that we have people here that are joining us that cannot see the chat. So go ahead and just tell us the information so we'll have it for the recording. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I'm the founder of African Festival Foundation and I'm Dr. Kelvin Morgan. Anybody who wants to reach me can go by km1634169@gmail.com. And my WhatsApp number is +22 33 +233 548873. So I started African Festival Foundation a year back, way back from Sierra Leone, because I started my journey. I traveled to many African countries, trying to help the youth over there. I found out that youth are being deprived a lot, because someone like me, how I started my life, I travel by stowaway, because I found out that, things in my countries are not going the way it should have been. So I decided to try out there to seek for wisdom to come and teach my people. So I traveled by stowaway. What I passed through, it was not easy at all. And I learned a lot out of my travel from different countries, one place to another. So I discovered a lot of things that you see, like Africa, we are lacking a lot of things in Africa because we have all the resources in Africa, but we lack what is called proper management, because most of the people think that manna will be falling from heaven. But no, manna is not going to fall from heaven. We have to work hard. Working hard by coming together, brainstorming together, share ideas together, so that at least we can develop our country. I try all what I can to visit many African countries using my own experience to teach the youth about they can do it for themselves. We should not wait for anybody. We should not wait for government, because government have nothing to do for us. We have to just be there and support ourselves to develop the country, because if we are together, we can do great. But if we divided, we cannot do what we have to do, because everything will be ending up going torso up and down, and then the struggle.
Well, technology is only great when it works. We may have a challenge here. We'll give him a moment to see if he can come back. Dr. Morgan has been disconnected, but give us just a moment. We'll see if we can retrieve him. Also, Susan Diego, thank you for joining us. In the meantime, I see that Dr. Shivala has not joined us. You're from Kenya. You're also involved with agriculture. So Susan Diego, get yourself ready. You may have to pinch hit. I'll turn it back over to you, Mariam.
Okay.
Hi, it's Princess to be here. I think that's sorry, Miriam. That's correct. Instead of us having a quiet moment, whoever the next speaker can come on, or Miriam can just remind our participants who we are, what is this campaign about, what we are aiming to achieve, and then while we are still finding out about Dr. Morgan, perhaps.
Yes, I agree. I think it's important. Excuse me. It's very important, Mariam Khan, that we take this opportunity to again let our audience know who we are, what the 16 days of activism for development is, etc.
Yes,
until we get Dr. Morgan back. Thank you.
So we have Dr. Kelvin again with us. And Dr. Kelvin, you could continue, please.
Okay, so like what I was just saying, so I decided to use my own time to be traveling around to educate the youth, telling them we can do it for ourselves. We should not depend on our people. or thinking that manna will fall from heaven. So I took a lot of opportunity to travel around all over Africa. There's no part of Africa that I don't know, to try to sensitize the youth. So we are coming with another project called Changing Mindset and Attitude through collaboration, which Madam Marian is part of us too, that we are hosting in Ghana, but which it will be hosting all over Africa. So that's what we are in right now.
So Dr. Kelvin, as per your subject of today's participation in this campaign, that we want to know about your farm and the techniques which you are using for the farming here and how you are involving youth.
Yeah, so we have to
in
go
this farm and how they are contributing.
Okay, then I have to go back there. Farm, baby. I'm going up there to show you. Yeah, so
Unmute yourself, please.
Dr. Kelvin, unmute yourself, please. I muted you by mistake.
oh, okay, sorry. We have the orange here. You can see them. And these are the coconuts, fresh coconuts. And I'm taking you up to the plantain farm. Charlie. Yeah, so you can see the plantain farm.
Have we lost Dr. Morgan again?
Yeah. So yes, he's again with us. So if you are having difficulties to take live with us, or showing your all work, so you can even discuss as sitting on one place, and you can discuss about all these techniques which you are using here.
I think
Yeah, please.
just add, Dr. Morgan, just to add on what Miriam is saying, can you please just be steady? And we have now seen, now speak it,
Yes.
talk it through, because it keeps us giving us the breaks, which they're not desirable. So stand at one side and at one stop, and then just talk us through what you are doing. Rather, that way it will work better.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank
So we
you.
have the plantation farm, we have the orange farm. So what we are just looking at it right now to go into production, like orange juice, plantain chips, jams, a whole lot. But I'll give it to Madam Pat to speak that side.
Hello again. So we are trying to say, like as I spoke earlier, we are not proper farmers. It was just myself with 2 boys, and we started planting because we had the land. And as of now, we have over 3,000 trees of plantains and bananas. that range all the way up the hill. And in between, we put in corn during the season. We put corn, we put tomatoes, we put peppers, food that was meant to be just for our consumption. That now we are able to feed ourselves, our families, and extend a little longer. So what we are trying to do is, because we cannot finish everything, we want to go into production. Like if we can turn some of these food into powdered flour, plantain chips, jams, orange juice, pineapple juice, coconut juice, so that we can see results. Because last year, for example, during the corona, we didn't have many visitors coming here, and most of us were on lockdown. When we came back, we have hundreds of plantain trees and food that were going bad. When we decided to sell some, we made 50 cedis. $50 from all the plantains we sold. If we had turned those plantains into chips or plantain flour, I'm pretty sure we could have made more than $10,000. But we are not doing much with what we have. This is why we want to go into production and do the farming properly so we can see results. Kevin will join us again in a few minutes. I'm just showing you some of the things we have and how by just 4 people developing a small farm has turned into something that so many people are now benefiting from. And if we do it bigger, how we can turn it real money. So this is the other plantain farms that we have. We also have cassava and other fruits and veggies in here. And we are looking
Madam
to
Patricia,
bring
Madam Patricia,
the
Madam Patricia,
youth
Madam
in.
Patricia. Hello, hello, Madam.
Hello.
We really appreciate the presentation. We love seeing that side, but can you stand still and just talk us through? We have seen it's really lovely, and we appreciate what you are doing, and it is lovely. But I think for this presentation, if we can have you standing still and now talk us through all what you are doing, the statistics, people that are benefiting as you are doing. But maybe if we can just have you on the camera sitting still, please, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm humbly requesting.
All right. Kevin was speaking and just gave it to me to continue.
Ma'am
So
Seppi, we have, Ma'am Seppi, I have also one suggestion. If we can start taking questions one by one from the audience, so they can be sit on one place and they start even answer the questions as well.
Well, Joan Kerr, this is where you always come in.
I have my hand raised.
Yes. You're
Hi
welcome
there.
for the questions.
Thank you. Patricia or Colonel Morgan, whomever, it doesn't really matter. So what I was hearing was the farm started with the idea of first by accident, by throwing some seeds, and then addressing feeding yourselves. So, but you want to move on toward an economic model. How did you, have you identified a market that you can sell to? Because there's a huge move from going to feeding yourself to production, like that's a business plan. What's your vision for that, and what's your process?
Yeah, we are looking at getting the market and then go into large supply and all those stuffs. But we are putting the business plans together to push it up to Madam Mariam, so that at least we can also get to somewhere, so that at least the youth, whatever they are just doing, they can also benefit out of it, going into wine, a whole lot. So it's the target market we are just looking at right now.
So Joan Kerr, I think what we have facing us might be an opportunity for Climate Smart Victory Gardens to collaborate with Kelvin and also Patricia. But let me ask you, Joan Kerr, do you see a possibility of us aligning the expertise we have with the resources and outcomes they have, and next steps that we could take? Joan Kerr?
Well, it's a perfect example of what the Climate Smart Victory Garden is. Feed yourself, grow to feed yourself, and then sell the surplus. That's the model in a nutshell. The question always comes, and I don't know the region very well, is that in the developing world, there's this concept that they have an idea and then moving from one thing to the next. But there's a whole process on, I mean, business is about sales. It's about identifying your market, and does that market need that those products? In this case, it's crops. So I mean, the process is always the same, whether it's food or you know, thingamajigs. It's still the same. You have to have an identified market, and in terms of what is available in the area, who's selling what, who can you sell to, all this kind of stuff. But this is a perfect, to answer Prince Andrew's question, this is a perfect example of a Climate Smart Victory Garden, that moving from feeding to surplus.
So Mariam Khan, I suggest that we undertake this collaborative under the auspices of the International and Indigenous Women's Development Conference, and work closely with Patricia starting now, so that next year we can actually show the progress that we made. That's my suggestion.
That's good.
So with that, Mariam Khan, as you see, as you see, Francis Chavala is still not able to join us. Oh, go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I also have two quick questions with Dr. Kelvin. Number one, that we want to know more about your youth project, which is based on the mindset and the attitudes in the youth. So positive mindset in the youth. So we know more about this project. And I also want to know about later on, not even now, or even you can put in the chat, that exactly how many people, especially youth, is involving in this project, and how can we collaborate for our youth with this project. So kindly, if you can share something about your project, the youth changing mindset and attitudes. So then we will move forward.
Okay, please. I will send that to Madam Mariam, because where I am, I'm far from the laptop, so that I'll share the plans with Madam Mariam, and then at least she can also put it on the platform.
Okay, so like sending only to me, like I can only read. This was my suggestion. If you can share something on the forum, but if right now it's not available, so then we will move forward. So in today's session, until our next speaker is joining us. So by the way, thank you so much, Dr. Kelvin, for joining us and sharing your great work, and along with me and Patricia. So you people are doing a great work, and especially I'm very much interested along with your agricultural activities, but I'm also very much interested to know more about your project regarding youth and behaviors and the mindset changing journey for the youth. So because here we are also dealing with a lot of youth and academia, so this is compulsory for us also to take this opportunity to learn more about this project as well. So thank you so much for joining us as a speaker, and good luck for your all agriculture and activities and for your farm. Thank you so much. So right now, until we are waiting for the next speaker, I want to share today about the International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference project. So this project was initiated by 2021 in March, and the theme behind this and the objective behind this project was to tribute of all these women, which are standing for serve to the communities and families and all other members which are suffering with Corona or even after COVID-19. So they are working as a soldiers. They worked as a as a frontline persons. So they served a lot. So we, as a leader of different 15 to 17 countries, sit together and we learn a lot of things about each other, about the cultures, about the traditions, about the development activities, and also about the business and markets of each country in this first conference. So after this first conference, we have a lot of stuff to discuss and convey to each other. So we are not taking and want to limit this network only for the one conference. So then we want to take further, and all our core team members, my very respected Princess Seppi, Ma'am John Kerr, and Jenny, Dr. Tamara, Prince Andrew, all these members, are sitting together, and we start working to collect all these women on one platform. And this platform was converted even after 3 months quickly in a Global Women's Development Network platform. So in Global Women's Development Network, every participated member or member country is a member of Global Women's Development Network. So after this Women's Development Network initiating, now we are moving towards our second round of the conference in March 2022. So in March 2022, we have a great targets and objectives to, again run this 6 days, 5 days exercise with more than 50 countries' women's leadership. And all these 50 women's leaders are not only with coming with a common agenda, they're all following again the 6 themes to nourish and to address the women's issue, women's concerns, and also the contribution in the development from the women. So we are also again taking this opportunity with a huge core team, professionals and leaders and strategic partners which are coming to join us. So during this session, I would love if we can run our promos of the conference, so you can better understand what exactly we are going to follow in 2022 under International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference. And we all are blessed that we all are having always support from the Andrews Network, and Andrews Network is going to again having a great opportunity to share this conference with the whole world. So I'm really grateful and thankful for all my seniors team that we are again taking this opportunity to step in for the 2022 conference in March, from 4th March to 8th March. So all of you are requested. In coming week, we are going to launch our website also. So this is AHIABGA-TV.org. So all of you can visit this website. You can register yourself. You can register yourself as a member organization. You can register yourself as a member, as a participant, as a speaker, or as an entrepreneur on this website. So you can find all kinds of options over there. and you can market your products, you can market your work, whatever you are doing in to support International and Indigenous Day, Women's Day Conference. So thank you so much. Sir Andrew, if our next speaker has joined us, so can we, having him?
Well, the great news,
On
Miriam,
the call.
is that you have time now to prepare the presentation, because our next speaker is not
Yes,
here,
sir.
but I've drafted Susan Yago to introduce herself.
Okay, sir.
That will give you time, Miriam,
Okay.
to prepare an infomercial and let people know what we're doing and our future. So Susan Yago, how
Okay,
are you this morning? And can you join us? Introduce yourself, give us your contact information for the world, and then proceed to introduce your program. Susan Yago. Are you with us, Susan? Also, there's a question in the chat about the link for the website. It'll be AHIABGA-TV.org. And I do want to clarify that. Originally in 2021, this was strictly, as I said, the International Women's Day Conference. But the evolution now is the International and Indigenous Women's Development Conference is what I'm suggesting, because we have only 193 countries, 202 total organizations that are recognized by the United Nations, but we have 3,000 tribes on Africa. We have 3,000 tribes in Asia. Here in the Americas, we had over 100 million indigenous peoples until colonialization. That's brought it down now to 5 million or less. So the idea is for us to involve and engage women around the world to leave no one behind. So we do look forward to finding ways that we can connect the dots around the world without borders. So Miriam, are you ready? Or Susan Yago, are you ready to introduce yourself? And if Susan is not, then Miriam.
Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself. No, sir, she's available. Kindly, ma'am, unmute yourself.
Oh, we have Francis just came in as well. Perfect timing.
Okay.
While we're waiting, might I ask a question? I haven't mentioned this, but for the international conference coming up in March, you know, Prince Andrew, that I'm involved with the Indigenous projects for North America. Would that be an opportunity to showcase what we're doing?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes, ma'am. Because we are also giving opportunity in this conference that we are going to show the entrepreneurial products also. So every country is having a great opportunity not only to speak on the conference, they can also have a great opportunity to show their products during your, your speech, during your session, during your, so you can share your products, your work, everything. So this is an entrepreneurial corner also in this conference, in which every country and every entrepreneur member can show his or her products on to the all overall, whatever is the connect.
Yeah, also, Joan, just to let you know, my vision is for us to use this as an e-commerce site, so that not only do we have a chance to introduce and show these products and services, but to help people like Patricia and Dr. Morgan to be able to have a place globally that we can actually connect together the dots. But I'll turn it back over now to you, Miriam, to introduce Dr. Shazala, who's just joined us. I'm going to mute everyone else.
Hello, Susan. Hello, I'm Susan.
Okay, Susan.
Yes, I was trying to unmute myself. I'm Susan Yago from Kenya, and I work with the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm Susan Yago from Kenya, and I work with the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm supposed to do my presentation on 7th of December, but for today I can introduce myself as a mother. and a mother of 4. I work with the Ministry of Agriculture, and also I do community work. I work with the youth, I work with women, I work with children, and I have done agriculture for the last 30 years. I'm about to retire now. I'll be retiring. I will start my retiring process as from next year. I'm so happy to be connected to Unity Net Africa, Unity Net Kenya, and I'll be so resourceful working together with Mariam. I appreciate Mariam so much for the way she's taken up me into this program, and for the poster, the beautiful poster that she has created. My friends in this country and in the diaspora are looking forward on 7th of December to hear my presentation. Thank you so much for the time that you've given me to do my introduction. I appreciate all of you.
We love you. All right, Miriam, back to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
and
much,
Chisala.
ma'am.
Back to you,
Thank you so
Miriam.
much. And now we have our next keynote speaker with us. And Sir Andrew, this is my request that if you can introduce Francis on for the next session, please.
Well, thank you so much. And I do have to thank Francis Chisala. He was introduced to me through our joint collaboration. Earlier this year, on March the 1st, I was able to find this group called the United States of Africa. They were not just talking about the original vision of Kwame Nkrumah and others to have all of the borders that were artificially drawn in Africa erased, but to have unity throughout the entire continent. So Raymond, excuse me, Francis Chisala was introduced to me by the CEO of that organization because of his work with the disability community. I too am disabled, although I have been in denial about that. And so I welcome the opportunity for Dr. Chisala to be here to represent us. Also, he is calling and reaching out to us from Zambia. It's very important you understand that Zambia may chart the course for the rest of the African continent. They now have a president who's come in as not just a young person bringing in fresh ideas, but with specific articulated visions for the entire country, so that the youth now can look beyond the limitations that have existed when you have years and decades of neocolonialism that have been guiding the efforts in Africa to keep them separate and disorganized. Again, let's take a step backwards. In dealing with Africa, you're dealing with a continent where the Europeans intentionally set up the marketing and distribution, not for the benefit of the local community, but for the European community. So in this struggle that is still ongoing, that Dr. Morgan is championing, as is Nancy, the idea is for us to collaborate together to make this world a connected place for ourselves. What's called the circular economy, and what's also called this fourth industrial revolution, because now we have technology to help our work. So Mr. Chisala, Dr. Chisala, if you're available, can you now please introduce yourself, your organization, and tell us a bit about the work that you've been doing and looking forward what we can do together. So Chisala, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and also to Marian, Ken, and also all the speakers and all the participants on this. This is His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Francis Chisala, Global Special Rapporteur on Disabilities. I am speaking from Zambia, the Republic of Zambia. I am elected that I am part of this momentous program, which has highlighted a lot of great and innovative issues, especially on the rights of persons with disabilities all over the world. I myself, as the International Disability Special Rapporteur of people of African descent with disabilities, I hereby try to also involve you so that we come up with the Africa Diaspora Disability Policy vis-a-vis the UN Sustainable Development Goals, which we all are aware of. And this has given us the clear impact and the clear impetus that we shall rise as a unified force to fight against this social segregation comes to marginalization of persons with disabilities. Thank you very much for this time.
Well, thank you. And let me follow up to say that in addition to addressing issues of disabilities, we're not limited to just our own efforts. The United Nations itself has set up a special network called Envision 2030. You'll find there you have opportunities and descriptions of ways we can all connect and take advantage of the existing framework. And that's our challenge, Miriam. That's also our challenge, Joan, is to find ways we can use the same language throughout all of our communications. And I have to be honest with you, here in the United States, we're looking to Africa and we're looking to Asia to be our guiders to the Sustainable Development Goals. Even though what you found is that the Sustainable Development Goals are a very handy way for local communities to get involved with national and international issues, we here in the United States have failed miserably. Just a report earlier this year indicated that in the 50 states of the United States, none of those states were even 50% towards achieving any of the Sustainable Development Goals. And that unfortunate circumstance is even worse for people of African descent, the growing Hispanic population, but even more so to our indigenous populations. So again, I urge all of you to consider just using your handheld device to search for Sustainable Development Goals, Envision 2030, and also don't limit yourself to just looking for ways that people in the disabled community are working together. Youth too are working together. There's an organization called youthforglobalgoals.org. That's youth, the number 4, globalgoals.org. What you'll find there is they've created a publication called Young Person's Guide to Transforming the World. They have, for each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, they have guidelines for how youth, students, schools, communities, businesses, and governments can work together. So I'm urging all of us to take advantage of these free available online resources. And finally, before I turn it back to you, Miriam, I have to say that we are, yes, addressing issues of gender equality to empower women and girls. However, it's unfortunate that this discrimination has existed not just for a few decades or a few centuries, but for millennium. But what we do know, and I'll be the first to say, I do not condone, accept, or even agree with 100% of what the United Nations does, but I can say that in the launch of the Declaration on Human Rights that we will be celebrating at the end of this 16 days, it's important that we, in fact, understand what the human rights are. As we educate our children and our people about ways to engage with enterprise, let us begin with educating them about their own human rights so that they do not find themselves taking advantage of for human rights abuses that they are not aware of, but governments are aware of it, businesses are aware of it. So we have to make our children empowered to understand we all have human rights. Human right 29 is responsibility. And I commend everyone here for taking the responsibility to make a change in your life and in your world. So Miriam Khan, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much sharing the future plan with us and the things which we are going to follow collectively as a team to address our 2022 conference and also the rest of the closing on 10th of December, which is the day of the Human Rights Day. So thank you so much. So I have for today because today we, bit close earlier due to, short speech of our speakers. So I would love to, utilize this time so I can present quickly our International Indigenous Women's Day presentation. I think so all our new members especially can go through this, that what exactly we are going to plan in 2022. And this 16 days campaign, which Sir Andrew yesterday shared, that this is an exercise for all of us, that how we are going to move for 2022 March. So, sir, can I share my presentation?
Of course, please. And take your time. We have 45 minutes left, so we may as well use this as an infomercial and share as much information as you can. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, just a moment. Dr. Syed has his hand raised before you begin. Please excuse me. Dr. Syed, you have your question or comment?
Thank you
Yes,
very
sir,
much.
please.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And I'm very sorry due to my domestic obligations. I was unable to attend the sessions regularly, but whatsoever time I got, I'm with you all people. I have listened to 3 or 4 presentations from the last 4 or 3 days, and it's a blessing. I think we are doing great job. All the marathon which is going on with your regularly, Andrew and Mariam and a few of our colleagues, they are doing, they are rocking really. So my one agenda is this, that as far as we have listened these things from the last 3 or 4 days, different speakers talked on different issues. And I think that in our developing countries, the green economy circle and the status of our requirements is almost the same. And we can go ahead with the working consortium so that we can identify the indicators on which we are working and what we are going to do. The native region, for example, what the problems are going in Nigeria, how the Ethiopians are thinking, and what is the fame is going on in the Egypt, what the Turkey is thinking, what Pakistan is going on, and how these are our member countries who are participating in this debate. If they can write their points, we can come to the common solution agenda, that which are the basic prime importance indicators which we have to take in the priority. So I will be working from by Pakistan, and I will wrote a few points that which are required by Pakistan and what Pakistan can serve for our member countries, our member delegates, and what are the expertise which we can share with you. So likewise, because we are approaching day by day towards the conclusion and concluding session, definitely after within this week, I think. So we have to, all the worthy delegates, I request them that they must write few 3 or 4 or 5 points, so that on the final day, all the recommendations, they will be settled on by the management, and they can then after that this will be a good gazette for us and homework for us for the next year. So this was my point, that we should go aggressively, we should go collectively, and we should form a family to work for all these recommendations and all these requirements and all these charters which people will identify and which the people will you management will recognize and you will give forward to us. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, and yes is the answer to your question.
Yeah.
But Mariam,
no, not as a question. Just it was my in the heart from today that I must present my words to you people. That this is my request. I think for you.
Well, what I meant specifically was that yes, we are willing to work and collaborate with you. And yes, we are willing to work and collaborate to make sure that we address what you mentioned. It's very important. We don't have just 17 sustainable development goals. We have 169 targets. It's important that we identify that we're already working on many of those targets. The challenge of the sustainable development goals is not achieving them, but letting the world know how we are already achieving them. That I
Yeah.
think, Dr. Sayed, is so important.
Yeah. So, but this exercise should give us the outcome that in this 16 days exercise, which priorities we have set on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
In addition, as Miriam says, the 16 days is not the end, it's the beginning. And I'm going to be recommending that we include a 17th day that represents the partnerships that outlines the plans that we make for the rest of the year and the rest of our decade. But please, let me turn it over to Miriam. And after her presentation, Dr. Sayed, we'll have a platform where we can all discuss these things. Miriam, the floor is yours.
So grateful. Welcome, Miriam, please. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable remarks. And we take this discussion forward after this short presentation. So this is the International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference. So logo has not been changed because of my very busy schedule. So I will update this. But this is now International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference 21 to 2030. So we are taking this mission till 2030. And yes, we can, like if we, have time and further, our work and projects and objectives will allow us, we will take this even for more 10 years to take this conference and this platform. So the theme of this conference is talking global challenges, which we are not only taking this under this conference, our every initiative and my teams, every initiative in their countries, in their offices, in their daily work, whenever they are available, whatever they are doing, they are basically talking global challenges. And we are taking this theme, International Indigenous Women's Day Conference, talking global challenges, because we are collecting all these themes, all these concerns, all these work together on one platform for 5 days long conference. Thank you. So initiative of what is International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference? This is initiative of power and wisdom and skills. This is first virtual conference. IWDC 21 is an idea of identify powers, wisdom and skills of women entrepreneurs, merge them with leadership to make women more visible in global markets by investing on capacity building through their innovative business approaches. Community Development Foundation floated the idea to pay tribute to all women, which play a vital role for their families and communities during COVID-19, to admire their efforts and passion as mothers, daughters, sisters, and moreover, passionate leaders. This conference will bring women together for an entire week to be inspired and empowered to take action to reach their personal and professional goals. What is the idea behind this and what is the concept behind this International Women's Day Conference? International Women's Day is celebrated annually, all we know, on 8th March. It offers an opportunity to reflect on progress made, to call for change, and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by ordinary women who have played an extraordinary role in the history of their countries and communities. In the light of current year, March 2021, IWDC 2021, a group of like-minded women leaders from plus 17 countries participated and observed that women are the leaders all over the world in almost every field of life. They lead business process for economic development, running businesses, establishing business ventures as successful entrepreneurs, building communities, leading nations, serving on front desks in hospitals and schools. They are presidents of countries and corporate boards. They are promoting peace, heading international organizations for serving and promoting grassroots organizations, participating at larger scale in agriculture, enhancing their presence in sports, teams, labor, and environmental movements, often while caring for their families and communities. So we are taking this concept forward to reaching 2021 conference. So March 2021 International Women's Day Conference, a week-long celebration. We collaborate all women, and particularly those leading the change for women empowerment and equality. We encouraged all women leaders with their initiatives, ideas, proposals, and suggestions for girls and women who dream to leadership to take it up. Conference was based on do not wait. It is your right, and word need you now more than ever through 12 points charter of demands at the closing of the conference. So right after this slide, you can see the dashboard of the 2021 conference. So if we keenly read this, this is basically the plus 17 countries women's leader had participated as a core team, and 500 plus social media presence in every session from across the globe. 50 plus experts joining hand highlighted rural economy, agriculture, trade and marketing, IT technology, and future interventions. 30 plus small and medium platforms will brainstorm exploring opportunities and sharing investments, assessing their policies, and submitted 11 points of demand will be presented to countries, government, and embassies to revise their agendas for women economic empowerment. So 100 plus youth and community leaders from CDF WADI program and other prominent government figures, including politicians and local ambassadors, Chamber of Commerce, economy experts, and lawyers joined us as procedure and address economic challenges for women. 11-point charter of demands and 500 plus conference attendees participated from various businesses with value-added services with their products showcase. 20 plus non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations are going to connect themselves with each other for the funding opportunities. So this was the dashboard of our first conference. The concept of 2022 International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference. So I would love if after my presentation, the word indigenous, why we added this in our conference. So my senior colleague, Sir Andrew William, will elaborate this addition of the word as well. So in the coming years, as the UN agenda, we are going to follow 3 major goals in this conference. This is quality education, goal 4, goal 5 for the gender equality, and goal 17 participation, partnerships for the goals or networking and partnerships. So we are also taking the same mission under this conference, that we are also going to take 3 goals to be addressed under this conference. So March 2022, we believe that women collectively will change our world for the better tomorrow. So where there is gender equality, societies are more prosperous, peace is more durable, economic conditions will be more powerful, education will be accessible for all, good health will be the priority of all families and nations, networking and partnerships will be the backbone of every initiative, and societies will get benefit collectively. So in International Indigenous Women's Day 2020, major objective of the week-long virtual conference dated 4th March to 8th March 2022, no woman should be left or denied these choices. Choices to know, choices to learn, choices to implement, choices to accelerate, choices to invest, and finally, choose a better life by building stronger families, communities, and nations. We are here to work as showcase for their women and highlighting them as shining leaders through this global platform, in which we are hoping for 50 plus countries as women leaders and best representatives of their countries. This is the big picture of International Indigenous Women's Day Conference. So we are going to building communities and bringing global opportunities to empower local leaders. So 50 plus countries talking global challenges, 50 plus nations picking the people and available resources, 50 plus women leaders take away sustainable solutions, and 10 plus sectors women economic empowerment oriented. So 10 plus sustainable development goals, grassroots development oriented. So 3 plus kind of partnerships, technical, strategic, and financials are going to be open through this conference for all member countries. These are two promos. I can play one by one so we can see what are the strategic partnerships of this international conference and what are the thematic partnership of this conference. So be with us to say this. This is women in businesses, women in education, women in community services. So women, we are investments, women in investments. So these are the virtual support. You can see the partners. So this is the Global Women's Development Network Partners Wall. So thank you so much. This is all about the International and Indigenous Women's Day Conference. And Surendra, this is over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me briefly share my screen if I may. Hold on just a second. As Miriam said, the idea originally was for us to replicate the work that we did last year, but this is an evolving collaboration. The idea is that, again, rather than focus on just International Women's Day Conference, the focus, I believed, should focus on International and Indigenous Women's Development Conference. Because again, originally the event was not just a day, it was actually several days. So I believe it's important that we, from the beginning, make very clear that this is a collaboration and not just for 1 year. We are forced to admit that the world's leaders, quote, leaders, unquote, may not achieve their objectives that they committed themselves to in 2015 with the Paris Climate Accord. That means that all of us are suffering every day around the world from these adverse effects of climate change. I'm so ecstatic that we have included number 17 for the development goals, because the idea is that we can then use 17 in every one of our projects so that we can demonstrate how we are actually working together around the world to accomplish these goals. We also have to represent ourselves as non-threatening to those existing companies, corporations, and aid agencies that are supposed to be accomplishing the things that you and I are already doing. The idea is, as I said earlier, to use their language to let them know that we understand what they're trying to accomplish. And we not only have the tools and resources, but we have the data to show that what we're doing is accomplishing the objectives that they claim they want to achieve. So the idea for us, particularly for you, Dr. Syed, and for you, Dr. Kelvin, is for us, and Joan Kerr, of course, is for us to use the best practices that we have available to address these issues. If we are truly going to leave no one behind, it's important that we understand how this whole concept came about. We ourselves have to be educated on what we're doing so that we can share this not just with leaders and governmental officials, but with our children. So our children become the leaders of what we're trying to accomplish. Just as a recap, it was in 2000, under the auspices of General Secretary Kofi Annan, that the Millennium Development Goals were launched. There are originally 8 of those goals, beginning with number 1, to end poverty, and ended with number 8, global partnerships for development. As the transition occurred between the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals, there was a major change also in what those goals were, and also the accountability. Those first 8 goals were just very general, and I have to give thanks to Asia because it was the Association of Southeastern Asian Nations, ASEAN, that was the region in the world that were most along the way to accomplishing the Millennium Development Goals. However, in the transition to the Sustainable Development Goals, it was the continent of Africa that created what's called the Common African Position on the Post-Millennium Development Goals that became the core of what we now know as the Sustainable Development Goals. Also, there was a worldwide effort, as Joan Kerr will excuse me, will also acknowledge, called The World We Want. That was a worldwide survey of what the world wanted for us to accomplish. So what we are now involved with has a history that it's important that we ourselves familiarize ourselves with to understand that this is only the second phase of a 1,000-year plan. So we move from the Millennium Development Goals to the Sustainable Development Goals. We have to believe now that we can change and adapt the next iteration to be what we call the Regenerative Development Goals. That's where the farmers are so important. That's where it's so important that community farming and household farming and having control of our food sovereignty becomes even more important. No one expected the pandemic to occur. However, it did reveal worldwide inequalities and worldwide challenges to the existing supply chain. It even became more relevant that now our efforts to reduce and eliminate fossil fuels means that we have to reduce and eliminate unnecessary travel and transportation, particularly of food. In Africa, as we've heard today, there are people in one village that have an overabundance of food, while just a few miles away, people are starving without having adequate supplies of food. As Joan Kerr will tell you, you have to have soil prepared to have multi-generational development of your land. All these are elements that it's our responsibility to share among ourselves and to make available to the world audience. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and speak to you directly. As we mentioned earlier, we have transitioned now from the IWDC to the AHIABGA-TV. However, this Andrew network that's powering this is also under an evolution. I spent 12 years as a Goodwill ambassador around the world from October of 20 2009 until just this past October, I spent 12 years establishing a worldwide communication network of like-minded humanitarians that are focused on accomplishing objectives in their own community. November 7th, I also finished my my 7-year commitment as president of 5 Points Youth Foundation. It was through that platform in 2019, on September the 21st, International Day of Peace, that we launched what we call the Ad Hoc International Advisory Board of Goodwill Ambassadors, of which Mariam Khan is our most recent ambassador. We do have an objective of moving forward to transition from doing strictly humanitarian work, pro bono work, to doing commercial work. So we have income to support our humanitarian causes around the world. So I do want to invite all of you to collaborate with us as we move forward to make sure that we're able to be the ones that are the change for our communities. So with that, Mariam Khan, I'll turn it back over to you. And perhaps since we do have time left, I know Joan Kerr has to leave in about 17 minutes. Perhaps we could have a chance to introduce those people that have joined us that have not yet had a chance to introduce themselves, and then we'll move towards close. But I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sarif Takhar, if you like the idea which you have shared yesterday with me, which you want to share at the closing, can we share this idea to our leaders right now to work till 5 days on this idea to bring all these material, and how can we take this on a level 2 towards the advanced level of not only these 16 days, but because this was very powerful idea. So I want that because today we have time. So if you want to share this idea on the floor, and all these members can think on this. We have still 5 days with us, so we can take till closing. We have a mature material to discuss over there. So this is over to you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. And it's a great time for me that again, I have some time from you people to address the worthy members. Actually, I was discussing with Mariam yesterday that lot of talks we have been here from last 10 days, and we are speaking on the development goals, and we are making a good homework and good, I think, progress I have seen, and motivation I have seen, and commitment is really I have seen. The way people are addressing the things, and everything, it was marvelous. But one thing is there, that when we will conclude, and during this practice, during this exercise, during these presentations, I have found that there is a immense need for us to go for the agricultural diplomacy. We have worked with the home gardening. Next stage was permaculture. The next one stage is the peri-urban agriculture. We have all discussed it. And then we discussed the economy. And then we discussed the supply chains. Then we discussed the blockchains. Now everything will be there. Every land, every region, every country has their talented and powerful, competent persons. They are there to want to serve, they want to work, they want to communicate, and they want to assemble. So I was talking, I have a concept for that we should also go ahead to work for the agricultural diplomacy. In Pakistan, I have conducted 3 meetings with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Islamabad, and one of my brother is working there, and he made me facilitate to work and to address this thing for the agriculture diplomacy with the region. And we talked about this diplomacy with the Turkish firm also. And one Switzerland delegate was visiting Pakistan last month, and they talked to us. And our area in Pakistan, Faisalabad region division, I have met Mr. Shaukat Ali, and he, with the collaboration of a Turkish company, they have developed a greenhouse, 50-acre greenhouse, 50 acre, 50 units per acre. So that is a lavish facility with a diversified microbiology and biotechnology lab. And they are potential producers of the seeds in 5 years. Leading role they have played, and that facility is in a very remote and backward area of Pakistan. So this is an initiative, this is an example in Pakistan, and so many examples are there. People are working to fetch the high technology, top technology from all over the world, and they are making their people prosperous economically and day-wise activities, and in their capacity, in their training, and all this is happening in a miracle way. So I want to addressing all these things, that if we have all the talented groups are there, talented persons are there, why not we collaborate with each other in all these competencies with all the indicators, so that a common working consortium will be there. So if somebody needs my services in Namibia or any other hard area, then I should not have any hesitation to visit that area. With the diplomat, as a diplomat of Pakistan, I can go for that area to serve there, to serve the people of that Namibia, to serve the people like this Andrew just was saying, that one village is having enough food for them, and the second, their neighbor village is not having the food. So these types of strategies we can conclude by the end of the sessions of 16 days, and we should have a homework for us after this 16 days marathon, that for the next year, this person has these responsibilities, and we will move around the world one by one to serve other nations. And now this is I think that this forum is now is a one home, and I do think that this is a one city, and now people have been assembled. A vibrant people have been assembled. A group of vibrant people have been assembled. It is a true squad who want to serve their lands, serve their regions, serve the world. So no discrimination should be there, that they are from this country, that country. No, now we are on the same platform. So we should have a common financial fund. We should have a common board of directors now. We have a common strategic partners. We are now strategic partners, and each specialty. For example, I am an agriculturist. I'm a microbiologist also. I'm a pharmacist also. So if my services are needed in any area, and we can make this specialty is there. Someone is economist, is a great economist, and someone is the diplomatic person. So we should identify these parameters and these verticals as their specialities, so that we can put the right man to the right job all around the world. They can serve for that. That was my idea, and I am also preparing a document, a write-up of only 1 pager or 2 pager, and I will present it to you people before conference if you want to see that. And I will hand over to Mariam, and Mariam can then forward it to Mr. Respectable Andrew and John Kerr and everywhere that she wants. So you can add, put up some lines, some words into that. And so a comprehensive and very strategic type of announcement should be on the final day, that people should know that this force is now coming over, and they are doing miracle to have a green development and green economy throughout the world. I'm so ambitious, and I want to serve you people by coming to your lands also. And this is my passion now. I don't have any hesitation. I will come there by my means, inshallah. No problem for my return ticket, and everything is only visa is required from your country, and I will be there to serve you people there. It is my commitment with you on this platform, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I know you turn it over to Mariam, but I do want you to know that John Kerr is leaving soon. However, I have a specialty I identify underutilized resources. One of the underutilized resources I'm aware of is through Joan Kerr's association. And Joan Kerr, I'd like you to introduce your association, because what happens is that there is now already a group of thousands of trained engineers around the world who have made a commitment to have a difference in their own lives and their own communities. But I'm suggesting that we embed that existing network into everything we're doing to get them to assist us to make sure that we're able to quantify and identify what we're doing now. So, Joan Kerr, before you leave, could you please address that?
Thank you.
Hi. Okay, so you're talking about IEEE, I hope, because I have other ones too. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. So I've been involved with the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers since 2009 as their humanitarian advisor. But I also head up as the appointed vice president for the North American Working Group. Each area has a vice president that's appointed by the president of IEEE Smart Village. Smart Village's mandate is to electrify the world, a billion people, and using engineers across the world. Now, the association itself, and I'm only speaking on behalf of North America, but I'm just giving an overview of how it works. The association itself has 440,000 engineers that they can, that we as their representative can utilize to help with projects. So that's on the engineers side. And so I have a number of projects pending with them. Being involved with the association since 2009 and as a humanitarian, I've had lots and lots of opportunities to work with them and make a difference. I'm also part of the newly formed association or strategic alliance with Smart Village and Silicon Valley Rotary, which has 1.1 million volunteers. And so we're able to work with, and also 5 million youth. So we're developing programs. I usually don't talk about this because this is not the, Prince Andrew is forcing me to talk about this. So we work within countries to have leadership and do all kinds of really good service work. So now I'll just talk a little bit about the North American Working Group because I do represent that as the vice president. We are primarily working with Indigenous people, and we have 4 strong proposals at the moment and 1 pending. So the working group looks at proposals and can do an initial funding of 25,000 and then a secondary funding of 200,000. This is US dollars to do projects. So that's what that's what my job is or role is to look at projects and mentor them and develop them into actual functioning operational projects. I'm an entrepreneur, so obviously strongly look at the business side of it, the operational side of it. But I'm a even stronger environmentalist, so obviously look at the environmental side of it. We've chosen to look at the Indigenous people as our primary target. It's not exclusive. It's just that's what we chose as a primary target. So we're working with a number of Indigenous groups to implement projects. Indigenous is broader than just Native Americans. They call them Native Americans in the US. We call them Indigenous peoples in Canada. And I tend to use that term broadly because the UN, I'm also an ECOSOC organization, and that's the terminology they use. So I tend to use that one. But any projects that are in Africa, Southeast Asia, and other Latin America, I work very closely with the other VPs to bring projects to fruition to fund. So does that answer your question, Prince Andrew?
Well, yes, it does answer the question. And so, Syed, I want you to also know, and you may know, that among the stakeholders we have here is the University of Technology and Management, I believe it is, in Pakistan, where just earlier we had 150 interns that were committed to working with this platform we have now. So I'm suggesting that we collectively identify the resources we have and connect those dots together. In the chat, I've also put a linkage to another underutilized resource we have. I'm the International Media Director for the Universal Citizens Media Network, the Revelation Network, and the Nakori TV Network. Joan, as you know, this journey for you and me began last year in about September, when we were going to uplift the work and achievements of the PodNet in creating a local sustainable model for growing food. However, they're still under development for their pilot, but the idea has always been that we treat this as a docu-reality series so that we can actually produce professional content that the world is demanding now. We have 5 corporations that own 95% of the world's media, but we have the power in our hands through our mobile devices to produce content ourselves. So just as Dr. Kelvin was walking around in Ghana, showing us the marvelous work that has occurred over the last few years, it's just as easy, Syed, for us to do the same thing about work in Pakistan. So I am imploring all of us to work together to make that happen. But Joan, in particular, before you leave, please know I will be addressing you and the IEEE globally through this collaboration with Miriam and Dr. Syed, so that we can be that missing link to connect the dot locally and globally. So as you have to go, Joan, I'll leave it to you for any closing thoughts, and hopefully you'll be here with us tomorrow as well, so we can follow up with this.
So grateful. Awesome.
Yeah, just a quick point. I just want to say that what this group is putting together is very strong, and working with the local communities. This is what we're looking for, because I work on the management side of IEEE as well. So it's not a replacement. I think that having its own autonomy and its own entity, and having those data of reaching people and being successful. I mean, when I analyze it, that's what I look for. So that's why I listen to different groups, right, to see what they're doing. But it has to be a very strong business component to it. I mean, it's very rigorous to apply for the funds. It is available, but it's very rigorous, but it is very timely, and we want projects. So we're looking for. So.
Well, the great news is that any exercise that we do to prepare ourselves for what your intake is would help us prepare for many other opportunities as well. So the idea, Dr. Syed, is for us to make this a long-term commitment.
Oh, yes, why not? It is my ambition, and also it is my commitment. Once I have said that it is mandatory for me, and it's my moral duty now to go for it. And when I speak, it means I want to do. So it is my commitment with you people that wherever you want to fit me, I will go, and I will certainly practice that, and I will deliver the things. For example, this Lane Chetak, I haven't listened her presentation yesterday. I think she is working in Pakistan, you know, and that is a marvelous thing that by in this age group person and lady is a strong lady, iron lady. And John Kerr was saying that you are in the management and we respect the managers, but on the lower level with the community, we have the strong binding in Pakistan with my farmers. And until and unless you are not going with them, going to them to serve them locally and personally, when you go and you deliver them, you practice them, and you give them the ideas, they are then they are then your they are then warriors, you say. They pick every challenge with you. They are your team members then. So we have this energy with us. The farmers, small farmers, we have given them the strategy. We have given them the training, capacity building from last 3 or 4 years. Now they are skilled enough to grow the things, to grow the produce. And if we can send them to serve anywhere in Pakistan, they do the jobs. So this is our teamwork. So this is on the lower level, because our management is sitting on the top, they need a positive feedback. And positive feedback always come when you work with your farmers on ground. And this on ground reality, and we will love to work there on the fields. And when Mariam is with me so many times, and we go for the trips of 5 or 6 days, we are from our homes, no kids, no husband, no wife, and so work with our farmers. That should be the passion, I think. That is the reality, I think. And the humanity is waiting for our services. And I'm totally agree with John Kerr's this advice and statement. And this is a great I think work have been done by you people with the engineers, because I think in the future all the landscape in the when you will go produce the things to produce the food for the people, then you will go with the permaculture, that good investors and good rich persons, they will come you to, okay, make 2 acres farmhouse for me, which have a permaculture development. Then we need these services of engineers there. Engineers should be ready to give us the landscape services, to give us the all this construction and this whatsoever we can do there. We need the services of them. Conservation of water should be there, and then we have the ponds for everything. I think that this architecture services are very much important in our farmhouses to develop the permaculture. And these engineers, they are the backbone of the economy of any project, you know. So we are ready, sir. John Kerr, we are ready, and Andrew, we are ready. Mariam, we are ready. And inshallah, I will send you day after tomorrow.
Yes.
The write-up will be ready, and I will submit to Mariam.
All right, thank you so much.
I have to go. Yeah, I have to go. Sorry, Miriam. Maybe I will discuss with you for the Women's Day conference that week. But we could put a session together with Smart Village. And yes, I can host that so that people can hear and ask questions from the panel and get that might be I'm just suggesting that.
Yes. Okay. No problem.
And the other thing I just want to point out is that for myself, when I'm looking at assessing proposals, I have worked from having a policy right down to digging the dirt and getting my fingernails dirty. So, you know, when I hear people talk, I'm always listening to what they have to say, because I know each process, what it takes. So that you always hear me listening to questions, because it's not just that conceptual, it has to be practical as well. Yeah. So anyway, I have to run. I'm sorry. So thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mariam. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for all leaders putting your suggestions and giving a lot of feedback. Now we are almost near to closing today's session. So I would love to revise the highlights of today's session. That we have 3 speakers with us. And the major highlights of these speakers are they are focusing on transforming life. So we all learned that how can we transform life from one home to the community, and community to from the villages, and villages from the overall city, and then we can cover a lot of population with our services. So Dr. Calvin Morgan and Patricia, thank you so much, and your model is really very good. And we love to listen and hear from again in any other session, like after 16 days of activism, to know more about your work, and also to see, we can see the collaborative opportunities, and we can learn a lot of things from your side. How can you start, and how can you engage, especially women in your area, which can learn a lot from your side, and they can put the same model in their houses, even on the small place, not even at a larger place, but they can learn from your side. You can build their capacity, and you can add your contribution towards these women development. And second, the second major highlight of the day is we are focusing on the youth by Dr. Calvin Morgan. This is the changing of mindset and attitudes of the youth. So again, we are leaving this project also on these two speakers, that we again, after these sessions, we will definitely set a separate session for with you to listen more about this project. And also we want to see the opportunities that how we can connect Pakistan and even the other countries with you on this project as well. So we have our again today opportunity to discuss about the International Indigenous Women's Day conference, and we describe our ideas, our concept note, and also we show the promise again to the world that what exactly we are going to do in this conference. And then we have our agriculture head, Sir Iftikhar Said Saab, and he put the idea that all our capacities, all our experiences, all our leaders, agriculturists, and all these speakers which are coming to address these removing malnutrition objective of this campaign, so we can be present our report, impact report, and this impact report can be convert in agriculture diplomacy ultimate. So this will be the objective of today's session. Thank you so much for all the speakers. Thank you so much all audience to join us from Pakistan, from across the globe. So everyone, house is still open. You can send your feedback in the chat also. Or if anyone want to add something, you have 2 minutes to add your views, your comments, and then we will close. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Miriam. What I've done is I've started sharing my screen just so that in the future,
and
we'll
also,
be able
sir,
to
I
have.
want to also share my screen as well, just to show one important.
Yes, go right ahead.
So this is impact report of 16 days activism for development, a model for enhancing nutrition sensitive agriculture, food security, and entrepreneurship will be the subject of this report. And we are going to launch this report, and we are going to present this report with the great collaboration of Andrews Network on 10th of December on the same time, same link. And the slogan of this campaign is Raise the Voice for Voiceless through this 16 days of activism for development campaign. And the slogan of this conference is Leave No One Behind, a call for collective action. So thank you so much, sir. So I want to show actually this report, impact report title. So now it's over to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. If you'll stop sharing your screen, then I'll start my screen, and that'll mark the end of this session. But we're going to continue. But for the editing, I do want to make it very clear that we're ending this session publicly. Hold on just 1 second, please.
Okay, sir.
All right, so thank you very much. I'm gonna end the sharing of my screen. And I want to thank everyone for joining us again. This has been an evolving situation for all of us. Let's see here, Jane, I'm gonna mute you. This has been an evolving situation for all of us, even though right now you see this being powered by the Andrew networks. On January 1st, I'll officially be launching the AHIABGA network. That will be the brand that we'll be using for this upcoming project, because it's not about Andrew, it's about all of us. So I do want to let you know that we're all in this together. So I do want to now, since we have this opportunity, for anyone that has not yet introduced themselves, to take this opportunity to either raise your hand or introduce yourself for 2 minutes, and we'll go around and then we'll wind up. So if there's anyone that would like to now introduce themselves for 2 minutes, also in the chat, if you put your email address and contacts, we'll make sure you are included with any follow-ups of today's session. So the floor is open for our guests to introduce themselves for 2 minutes or less. Thank you very much. And if none, then we'll close.
So we
If
have Dr. Archet Kara. So this is the new member. I didn't see him in the previous sessions.
Okay, now's that time.
Dr. Archet Kara, can you please unmute yourself, and if you want to introduce yourself in the session.
Yes. Hello,
Thank you.
everyone. Hello from Turkey. Now, the agriculture technology around the world, the new technology about agriculture, solar system, a new system, how we can do a new technology. Now we work in Turkey and we export from Turkey a new technology about agriculture from A to Z. That is a study about what you need in your project. Example, you need fruit, you need anything, you can make a solar system, and you can study with the engineer agriculture. The project, very important. You must study what you need in agriculture. Maybe you can make a factory about meal factory, you know. Many countries need like this project. I think my study only, I can study the project. Thank you so much. That is my word only.
Thank you so much, sir, for your introduction. So I want to ask actually what, so you need something from our side to understand about our project, or you want to share something? I want to, you know.
I want to share something. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Example.
So yes.
I give you example about solar system agriculture, zero risk. Nothing risk.
Okay.
You can make electricity, okay. You can make agriculture, you can export this agriculture. That is new technology.
Well, I would recommend that we set a time for his presentation. But as we're already over to our 2 hours, I would like for the people here, if they want, to make their 2-minute introduction so we can close. But we could have an entire session for Dr. Ahmed So we'll have a PowerPoint, videos, anything else, and we give him our full attention.
And Dr. Kara, I also leave my email ID. If you want to share your document, you want to share
Okay, no
something with
problem.
us, you can send me on email, and we will share, and we can set even a session with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we are closing out. This is the time for anyone to introduce themselves. If not, we're going to close. Back to you, Miriam, to close.
Actually, today we have every member is having some difficulties in network. So thank you so much for joining us, and see you all tomorrow on same time with the same link with the new speakers. And we are going to address tomorrow on Sunday from India. This is one of the Dr. Surya Banu. She's coming to address importance of food and nutrition in young kids. And also we are having few other speakers addressing the same information about agriculture, food and nutrition, and food security. Stay tuned with us and join us tomorrow. Thank you so much and good night.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.